Okay. Uh, welcome to the welcome to today's session. So today we will be starting the new framework, which is called as which is a fast API used to build for APIs. Uh, it is used for a application APIs development in the web application. So we will see what is actually, we'll go step by step. What is an API? What is web application? What is the use of web application? What end you are trying to build and all. Okay. So yeah. So good morning everyone. First of all, um uh, you can see. I want you to note down um, uh, some things. So there is some questions I will try to ask, guys. So what is an web framework? Why we are using web frameworks and all? See, nowadays you see these Amazon, Flipkart, Blinkit, or any website, any web application, IRCTC. When you book online, right? Any you are trying to book hotels, these guys, these are all the application, different web applications. So what are all the bookings you do, all those things, it will be stored, right? When you log in, it will be stored, and so those records will be stored in separate DB and all. So you are trying to communicate with an application which is a web application. If you are using mobile, means that is called as Android application or iOS applications. And how these guys all are trying to connect with the application and do the service, and that data will be saved into database. So these uh, so how all these applications at the end comes are using any other framework or any other libraries to uh, build it. And they in when coming to web application development, there is two terms: front end and back end. Okay. So front end application is the one which you will see at the user level, like for what is there, the UI. Actually the end user will get to know of the application only on the front end side. Back end side, he will not able to do. He can assume the work, but what has exactly done at the back end level, he will be not able to see it. But only thing, he will be seeing the application level at the front end. Okay. So the front end part is like there are two terms, which we have to discuss later, but I will mention these two terms right now. And please have a note: web server and application server. So what is the difference? What is web server? What is application server? To get this thing started, you should be knowing in detail. Okay. So first of all, we'll see. Um, I'll be sharing my screen. First of all, we'll see an web application flow. Web application is a process of design, building, testing, and deploying interactive software that run on remote servers, accessing via web browsers. Yes. Oh, this is also first thing. See, so same thing. IRCTC will take these things. Means these guys, each each application will be having a unique IP address. Oh, then what? How we? Tell me one thing. Remembering numbers is easy, or remembering the name? So like there will be some users, or there will be some guys. uh, the best practice is remembering by name. So these domains will be hosted in some. They will be given one IP, and they will be using that IP. They will purchase the domain name like Google.com and everything, and uh, like where. So we will mention the other thing also, from where the domain name will be purchased. So in India, you know, right? Domain purchase platforms also will be there. Domain GoDaddy, actually, which this is the which was famous thing. So these higher side, whether you take Google or IRCTC and all these guys, we will be having a unique IP, and with the domain names, by the domain name they will be hosted. Okay. To remotely available across the, as it says, remotely available, right? Yeah, web application is a process of design and building, testing, and deploying interactive software that runs on remote servers and accessing via web browser, like eliminating the need of local installation. It involves a collaborative effort between the front-end developers who build either the user interface, and the back-end who manages the server side and database using languages like Python. So guys, we are handling this part of the thing right now. Okay. S- what? Okay. So the first of all, what you should be knowing is, before starting the web application development, each terms you should be very aware of. Okay. So I will take um, a Visual Studio only. I will create a new file, like flow diagram. Hmm. Okay. So first, in web application, there will be two terms: front end development. Front end development, this will be majorly HTML, CSS, React, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, or it is can be precisely called as vanilla JS. Okay. So only these, using these three you can use. This was very like 10-15 years back. So 5 years or 8 years back, there were libraries built using these three: HTML, CSS, JavaScript. There is a, like, a language called as Angular JS, and it's a framework actually. It's a framework, Angular, and there was a popular library called React library. So these can be used, like you can write it by TypeScript also, JavaScript also. So these guys will come under at the front end development. Okay, front end development, and the next comes the back end thing. Back end process will have the communicating with the databases and all. So this comes under communication with the database. So how we will communicate with the database? Using languages like Python, or there are a number of languages, and each languages have many things. Using Python, you will try to communicate with the database. So how we will communicate? Not only using framework like Fast API. There is a Flask. Three frameworks are there. We'll be using Fast API in this sessions going on, and by using Fast API, you will be building APIs, which is called as REST API. We will spend time on this also REST APIs to communicate with the database and save the database. So once you developed, then you will deploy the code. You will deploy where you will deploy AWS, Azure. These are all the cloud platforms. So in the middle I have something. So you have to store this application, right? Store so you will be stored in the in the remote only, so using that uh, so you can use version control for storage of the application. So GitHub, GitLab, those things. GitHub is a free version, you can say, and all. So web application, front end development, back end development, you are storing the application, then you are deploying it, everything. So this is the flow. Like for a basic to start with, you will understand these are all the terms which this involves while building a web application. So we'll be uh, this. So now, what are all the things you need to install? So this is the basic stuff. What are all the application? What is the web application we have needed? So we need to set up now. Set it up now in the system. So first you need is Python. Hmm? Python has to be installed in your this thing. So and in Python there is a term called virtual environment. What is an virtual environment means? So all the dependencies of the applications, you don't want to installed. If suppose say you have multiple applications, suppose in your system you are building two or more applications, and dependencies are different. So dependencies are different. So to keep the dependencies to keep the dependencies separately, you will use the term called virtual environment, which is available in Python. Okay, virtual environment, which you will do the virtual environment and try to install there one by one. Okay. So and this and you will do the setup. So first things first, we you will be doing the setting up the things today in this session, and after that you will go what is an API, what is a REST API, what is the flow and everything. You and we will go step by step. Okay. So why virtual environment is needed? To keep the dependencies separately for each application. For each application you are building, you will create one virtual environment and keep the dependencies is there only. Okay. So how you can create a virtual environment? You There is a uh, uh, called as pip. So what is pip? So this is called as a package manager. When while working with Node, or you will be Node package manager and all. This is the term is prefers a pip, the standard package installer for Python. So if you need any packages, any you have to include any packages and all, you will definitely need pip by default. So once you have installed Python, right, the next thing you have to do is you have to do a pip install in Python. You have to do a pip install, and then you can install all the other libraries one by one. Okay. So uh, we'll use ChatGPT for so we need to set up the virtual environment and install the fast API related libraries. Okay, so these things. So what it is telling, try to create a project. Okay, then okay, that is also correct. Instead of Python class, so let us create fast API to do application. Fast API to do application. So here, what you will do? You will use Python 3, Mac or Windows. You can use Python. Okay. So Python 3. One thing, guys, with ChatGPT, previously they were using nodes and interviews were expecting some like you need to know the commands. Yeah, still you know the commands, it's then good. Like they don't need to memorize it. Okay. For documentation, for steps, the ChatGPT is the best thing which to follow. Best. Okay. Python Python 3 hyphen M VENV or uh, my ENV. So you will do a ls now. So there is a created a my env. Okay. So then you have to activate it. So the Windows command is venv scripts and activate, where the Mac OS command is source mynv bin activate. So this, see, you can see here now. So this tells us your virtual environment setup is done. For Windows, please note this is the command. Now instead of env, I will add it in the chat. What will be our command now? So it is called, instead of env, make it my env. So to enable the virtual environment. Okay. So you have enabled the virtual environment. So to what are all the libraries needed for the fast API? So they are doing an upgrade. I will not do. You can do if you need an upgrade, but I don't think so. We need. So install the fast API and Unicorn. You need two libraries now, or install the standard extras recommended. Oh, this installs. Okay, it will install all the things, but we'll go one by one because uh, before installing, what does this does? Knowing that thing is very important. So I will install pip install fast API and Unicorn. Okay. So how you can see what are all the things you have done means do a just pip list. Here you can see first API is done. This Pydantic and all I have installed universally before only, so it is there like this those things. So there is pip and there is UVCon. Now this is done. Now the next step is verify. Yeah, yeah. See all these things you have to see. Which here you are seeing most of the things. Okay. Then create your fast API application. Okay, so we'll create one these things and try to run it. First, we'll do these things. We'll follow the steps. So I will try to open another instance of code. So yeah, here. there, main.py. So from fast API, import fast API and app equal to fast API you will be creating, and later on at the rate app dot get, you are defining a home method, and here we will just print or we will return a JSON where key is message, like standard hello world part. Guys, we'll see you in detail what are all the things. Let us see the step to run the code. um, to run the code, uvcon main app dot reload. So this command you have to run it. So here it is trying to run, and this is the port in which it is trying to run. When I do the instance, right? So in local you are trying to run this thing. So see, okay, now congratulations, you guys have successfully set up the application at the first step. So this is how you will set up the things. Okay, so fast API is very lightweight, and it will not come with the default everything configuration, everything. It will not come. So to keep the application lightweight, we are using fast API framework, and this is the things for this. Actually, we have done this set. We have done with the setup thing part. So, and one thing, you can go through the logs also. So fast API will comes with this swagger thing also. Swagger. So those who guys are due to this, like swagger is the part where you can do the testing part. Those who already know, you are familiar with this thing. The swagger is equivalent to the postman. So which will come as a by default uh, thing in fast API framework. Swagger will come. Also, if you want to see the redocs, like and all, if you go through the docs and all, everything you can do it. And see this. We have used this fast API, right? What is fast API? Which is an web framework. Okay. So this is a web framework you are trying to run in. And what is the unicorn? Unicorn is a server which is trying to run this web application. So what is that unicorn? ESGI server. What is this ESGI server? Unicorn server fast API. So to run the fast API application, you typically use high performance AGCI. For production, it is recommended to use GUnicorn. So to run the application locally, you will use this fast API, which is the server. Okay. So I think so. Um, Now we have set down up the things, but in the next session we'll see what is REST APIs, and what are all the APIs. How we will try to communicate with the database and all. Before that, before directly jumping into database, we'll use array, like data types like array and all, try to do perform CRUD operations on array itself and all, and how you will build an API, everything you will see one by one, everything. So this only setup things we have done as of now. Going ahead, in the session by session, we'll be building the applications, or we'll be performing the CRUD operations first, trying to establish communication with database, everything. Setup things, if you are very familiar and you got familiar with all the keywords, then we will later on we'll do a real-time application also. And thank you guys. Thank you for joining today's session. Have a nice day.